Hey there, it's Diane Forster. Hi there, it's Diane Forster from I Have Today, and welcome to Love It, Thank It, Bring It. I'm doing something a little different today. This is our live weekly webinar series on the three-step process that I wrote all about in I Have Today. And this series is called Love It, Thank It, Bring It. And what we do is we take on a new topic every single week, and we dig into it, and we talk about it, what the issues are. I cite some examples related to it, and then I give you 3 steps on how to transform whatever that issue is. And it's based on the teachings from my book, I Have Today, where I talk all about 3-step processes and the living the love it, thank it, bring it way. And I'm doing something different today. I'm recording my webinar here in front of me, and I'm also doing Facebook Live. So I just wanted to say hello to everyone and thank you for being here. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. Feel free to write in the chat box. Feel free to let me know that you're here. And then if you're here for the first time, welcome. So what I do is I'm an intentional living expert. So I set an intention at the get-go for this, that I hope that you walk away with some value, some nugget, some inspiration, some aha that is really going to be something that catapults your life in a forward direction. And I do everything in 3-step processes for 3 reasons: because they're easy to remember, they're easy to build upon, and then they're easy to implement into your life. So with that, what happens to us is, when we try and make change, some people, you go on a diet or you do something radical and you throw yourself all into it. And what happens is it becomes too daunting and overwhelming. And then you end up walking away from it because it's just too much. So what I do is I teach you, take on little topics at a time. And what we do in this series is we take on 1 topic a week. And then, so we have the webinar based around it. And then I also write my weekly blog, which if you're not getting my blog, you can get it at ihavetoday.com, and then click on visit my blog, and then you'll get it right there. And the blogs are written in conjunction with what we're talking about here on the live weekly webinar with Love It, Thank It, Bring It. So it's very synergistic, and then it really anchors it in for you. And then everything that we talk about is also in writing there for you. So if you missed anything and you wanted to write it down and you can get a chance to, you can have a chance to have access to the blog as well. So, but I'm excited to be here. So let me just do a quick little recap. So we relaunched Love It, Thank It, Bring It 3. This is our 4th week. So what we did is, if you are here for the first time and you want to go back and see what we've done, go to YouTube. I Have Today with Diane Forster to my channel, and you can see them. Our first week we did You Are So Beautiful, and Don't Ever Forget That, which was really powerful. Only 4% of women think that they're beautiful in the world. And then the second week we did Forgiveness is So Freeing, and I gave you 3 steps on how to forgive anyone of anything. And then last week, our title was Go First. And what we did is we talked about where do you rank in the line that is your life? Is everybody else coming in front of you? And how is that serving you in your life? And so I gave you 3 steps on how to put you at the front of the line without feeling any guilt or regret or anything like that, and actually having the capacity and the energy to really serve everybody else in your life. So this week, I am super excited about this topic. It's called Watch What You Say. And the reason I picked this topic is it was about 3 years ago. I was listening to Zig Ziglar's How to Stay Motivated on Audible. And he said something. If you don't know who Zig Ziglar is, he was a brilliant motivational speaker. He's just legendary. He's been gone for several years, but he was phenomenal at what he does. And so, hi, Morgan, I see you there. Thanks for being here. So anyway, so what Zig Ziglar said that struck me, and it stuck with me immediately, it's never left me, was he said, did you know that, at least at that time, anyway, there are no reported cases of any American Indians who stutter. None. And then he said, do you know why? And the reason is they don't have a word for stutter. So for them, stuttering cannot exist because there is no word for it. And I thought, oh my God, what words do I have in my language that I would like to remove because they're not serving me and I don't want them showing up in my life? It was such a light bulb moment. And so it sent me on this quest to dig into what language, what words am I using that I'm putting out there that I really don't want to be. And the ones that came up for me right away are, hate, blame, shame, guilt, can't, don't, always, and never. And I'll explain those two in a little bit further down in the webinar. And then anything derogatory, anything negative or derogatory about anyone or anything, I thought, I am going to make it a conscious effort to get those words out of my vocabulary. I can choose what I say and how I express myself, and I can choose what not to say. So that's where the whole thing stemmed from. So it got me thinking about it, and then I thought, you know what? Other people need to know this, so I want to say to you, do you know that the words that you're using and the thoughts that you are thinking are a direct reflection of everything that's showing up in your life? It's really true. It doesn't matter what it is. It only matters the way you say it and the words and the language that you use for it. So for an example, let me use love and money because they're what's at the core of everybody's, top of the list of things that they typically have issues with. And the clients that I work with, they're the number one and number two things, always. So let's say you said to yourself, I just can't seem to get out of debt. You're going to end up with more debt. Even if you said, I wish I could get rid of this debt, you're still going to end up with more debt because the universe only knows one word, and the word is yes. So the universe hears debt, debt, debt. It doesn't matter that you're saying, I don't want debt. You get what you want. You get what you talk about, whether you want it or not. The universe hears debt. So it makes you accumulate more debt. Now, a better way to say it here, I wrote a couple sentences down, would be, I wonder what it would feel like to be financially free. Doesn't that sound better? And then I am so grateful for all the money I have and all the money that's coming to me. Much more powerful. And those are intentional statements, and they actually invite in abundance, not debt. So it's just a switch of words and a switch of the language and the impact that it has on your life. Hey, Jeannie, I see you there. Thanks for joining. So that's one example. Now let me tell you, let me give you an example in love. This makes me cringe. I hear women all the time, whether I'm out at an event or at a party or in public, and I happen to be listening to the ladies next door to me or at the coffee shop, at lunch, wherever. I hear all the time, all the good men are gone. There are no good men out there. And I just cringe and I think, oh my God, they can't find anyone because they're keeping them out by saying and using words like that and expressions like that. And the truth is, there are plenty of good men out there. In fact, there's no one for any of us. There's thousands of right partners for us. And so what these women, and men do this too, by the way, men think, I don't want to name their names, but my cute little nephews I saw on Easter, both of them were saying they can't meet a good woman. There's no women in LA, can't meet them. They're all about money, they're all about this. And I'm thinking, that's why you're meeting women like that, is because that's what you're inviting into your life. If you switched your language and instead switched it to what you want instead of what you have, the results that you would get would be so much different. So here's a couple of examples of sentences I would use instead. For women, I wrote these in for women, but men, you can use these too. Tell yourself and others, I am highly attractive to the most wonderful men. I am so lucky that I meet amazing, smart, handsome, successful men wherever I go. And then I wonder what our life together will be like when I meet the man of my dreams. Now think about where your thoughts go with that. Think about what you're doing when you're emitting those words and that language out to the universe instead. The universe is going to work on finding that for you and creating that for you. It's so fun. And it's so different than the language that most people use. And it's really nobody's fault. I mean, we're just a product of our upbringing and things and expressions and things that have been said to us, like money doesn't grow on trees. And I'm going to relate this to money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are mean, or greed is bad. None of that is true. If you don't want to believe that, you do not have to believe it, because it's not true. So I just wanted to say that I've also, what heightened my awareness for this was, I know for me personally, I have said my share of harmful, mean, bad words in my life, for sure. I mean, we all have. And I acknowledge and recognize that there are things that I have said that felt so good in that moment. You just feel it, and it just felt so good to get it out at the time. But then I immediately regretted it, because it caused pain or hurt to somebody else. And I know I've regretted it for, minutes, hours, days, weeks, years after, where I've said something that I know deep down in my heart I really didn't mean. So that was another thing that I had to come to grips with and the realization of. But the good news is, if you didn't see my webinar about forgiveness is so freeing and the 3 steps on how to forgive anyone of anything, I highly encourage you to go to YouTube and watch that, because I have learned the art of forgiveness, so I know how to forgive myself now, and I'm just consciously aware. It's creating awareness of the words that we use and the thoughts that we're thinking. So what I want to say is, we can change the emotions that are associated to any situation just by changing the words that we use. So let me give you let me just think of something off the top of my head, unrelated to anything that we've talked about. Okay, so growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. We moved around a lot. My dad always had 3 jobs. My mom was busy, working and also raising 3 kids, and we didn't have a lot of money. But I would never describe my upbringing by, we didn't have a lot of money. I would describe it as, our life was such an adventure. My dad was busy out being a busy entrepreneur. My mom was this young, vibrant woman raising these kids. And I never felt that I needed anything. I felt that I had everything. I literally felt rich and abundant. See how different that description of the same exact event is, and the difference that it has, and the impact that can have on your life, inviting new things into your life, right? So that's what I mean. You can change. You don't have to change the event. You can just change your emotions and your language related to the event and have a completely different experience and a memory of it. It's just so powerful. So let me get into the 3 ways for us to change any situation. And how I did this is exercises. So if you want to write these down, please write them down. If you don't have an opportunity to write them down, that's okay. You can come back and either re-listen to this or download this from my blog at ihavetoday.com. And my blog site is called intentionallivingexpert.com. And this will be there later this week, so you can get this in written form. Okay. So the first, I've done these as exercises this week. I'm all about exercises, which I'm going to do another little plug. If you don't have a notebook or a journal or a place where you keep your writings, your affirmations, your journaling, your musings, whatever it is that you have going on in your life, mine's available if you want it. I created this. This is the 90-day journal. It's an accompanying piece that goes to the I Have Today system, which is 90 days to find your passion, purpose, and smile. But this is just it's a beautiful journal. I've got inspirational quotes written in here, but this is a great tool also if you want to have one central place that you keep all your notes and your progress. What is so great about it is it's so good to go back and look at it after the fact. So that was just a little shameless plug for my journal, but a spiral notebook, anything will do, but it's nice to have one place for it. So anyway, the first exercise is the vocabulary replacement exercise. So what I mean by this is what I want you to do is do what I talked about at the beginning, which is make a list of words that are not serving your life for you, that are not serving you in a positive way. And what you want to do, I'm going to give you some examples here to help you get going with it, is as you're creating this list of words, I want you to create a list of replacement words. You want to remove these words, but more so, you want to replace these words with something else, because you're still going to have the inkling, the desire to say something or think something, and you need something to replace it with. We can't just remove, we need to replace. And I talk about that too, and I'll certainly talk more about that later in the series. So for example, I replaced the word worry with the word wonder. So for example, let's just say, I worry about the kids when they're not home. I know so many worriers. Worry is such a wasted emotion. I've talked about this in the past before. Instead of saying that and putting any energy or emotion, language towards worry, instead say something like, I wonder how much fun the kids are having right now. I wonder how much fun they're having. They're out there living their lives. Doesn't that feel so much better? And that emotion is so much better and healthier, literally based on switching one word. Changing your language with one word. So let me give you a few more examples to get you going. And what I want you to do for this is just, as you think of them, add them to the list. So words to replace, and here's things that I've removed and replaced with, I'll tell you. So worry I replaced with wonder. Fear I replaced with faith. So I fear that I'm going to get very sick. How awful is that? Instead, I have faith that I am healthy and well, and I pay attention to what my body needs. Much more healthier, much more in service of you, much more positive effect on your life. So I replaced hate with heart. So if I go to say I hate something, I say I heart it. Really, sounds weird, but it's positive. Then trepidation, I replaced with trust. Bully, I replaced with buddy. A bully, you know what? I'm not going to get off on a tangent here. I just want to say one thing. A bully is a person who beats themselves up more than anybody else. And that person really does deep down need love. So that's why I did that. And then react, I replaced with respond. So try and respond to things versus react to things. So that's just a short little list to get you going. But think about the words that you would like to replace because they're not serving you in your life. Okay. So let me just say that this will take practice. This is a practice. I mean, life is a practice, but why I give you the week to do it is because it helps you really anchor it and ingrain it in and implement the practice. So, but what I want to say about it is two things are going to happen. As you're starting to replace those words and those thoughts with more positive ones, you will start doing it. It'll be a habit and it'll just start clicking in and you'll catch yourself doing it. So you'll start doing it more and more. Or what's going to happen is you'll start to think a negative thought or want to say something that's negative that doesn't serve you, and you'll catch yourself in the act of it and you'll just drop it. You won't even say anything. You won't say anything at all because you'll realize, what is the purpose of that? That's just a negative thought, and it's uphill to where I want to go, and it's not going to serve me well. So you'll stop it. That old saying, your mom used to say or used to hear, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. That's what'll happen. So 2 positive effects out of that. Okay, the next exercise, number 2, is called The Person I Used to Be. I love this. This is such a powerful phrase. If you have said things, when you talk about your past, and I've talked about this too, about how we got to stop telling our old story. It's not serving us. But if you're speaking of something in the past, you're not living in your now. And I'm all about living in the present moment. I have today, intentionally right now, every moment, every segment, every area of your life right now. So things from your past are a good reference point, but you do not want to be living there. Okay. So what I did is I replaced I was with the person I used to be. So let me give you an example. I was so afraid of, getting in an accident or whatever you're afraid of. Instead, replace it with the person I used to be was so afraid, etc. And the reason why you do that, you want to say that, is because we're not the same people we are at the end of the day as we are at the start of the day. Every cell, we have 37 trillion cells. They are constantly dying off, old cells dying off, new cells getting regenerated, right? So we're not even the same person at the end of the day, let alone 15, 20, 50 years ago, right? So you are not that person and you're living in your past. And I refer to my past because I need to use that as a reference point to tell you where I came from, how unhappy, how unhealthy I was, you know, the point where I attempted to take my life, and then the journey back to where I am today. And it's literally just a reference point. It is not the person I am today. If I never had to speak about it again, I would be totally okay with that. So that's what I mean by it. So think about the things that you talk about and the person you used to be. It's not who you are today. You know, that abuse you suffered, or that neglect, or the accident, or whatever it was that was happening is the person you used to be. It is not the person who you are now. So it's a perfectly reasonable phrase to implement into your life. And the beauty of it is allows us to change every single day. Every single day. And I say that, I have today, it's in the poem, I have today to start fresh and new. You really do have every single day to start fresh and new. So this is where I want to bring up the always and never that I talked about at the beginning. So always and never, you know, we no longer need to use or refer to anything in always and never, because you're not always this and you're never always that. So we just don't need to even use phrases like that. So I'm going to give you an example about my dad. And Dad, if you're on, here's a shout out to you. I hope you don't mind. I'm using you as an example. So I just want to keep it real. So for several years, my father has gotten sick in January. He travels a lot and, you know, the holidays and everything. And then when January comes, he has in the past, the person he used to be, gotten sick in January. Sometimes it's pneumonia, sometimes it's a really bad chest cold, but he has gotten to the point he fully anticipates being sick for 3 weeks in January, sleeping every day, you know, not being able to get out of bed, all of that stuff, because he expects it to happen now. Instead of saying, here, let me change this, to the person I used to be would get sick in January, but I'm not that person anymore. I am healthy and well, and I get to decide that I am health and wellness, and it is a choice. So he could say that, and he could start that at any time. Dad, you can start that now. But he fully expects to be sick in January. So guess what happens? He gets sick in January. And Wayne Dyer, the late Wayne Dyer, I love this. He told a story once about the same thing. He was at an event, he was speaking, and one of the men came up to him and said, you know, he didn't want to shake his hand. He said, you know, I have a cold, I don't want to shake your hand, or something like that. And Wayne said to him, well, how long have you been sick? And he said, oh, next week it'll be 3 weeks. So he was already projecting his illness out another week, similar to my dad's story. And Wayne said to him, why would you do that? You know, so, you know, why you can wake up tomorrow and be perfectly healthy and well. So that's what I mean about using that phrase, the person I used to be. So don't think just because something was a pattern before, that that is the pattern in your life, or that something happened to you, that that's who you are now. So again, this takes a little bit of practice, but this is so well worth doing. And I just know that you're gonna love the results, because I know how it's impacted my life. So, okay, so let me get on to the exercise number 3. I love this one too. I give these are good. You practice these, I'm telling you, you will change your life. Speak about the life you want exercise. So when someone asks me about my businesses, or my life in general, but I'll just take my topic of my businesses. I always speak about my business of where it is going, not where it is today, okay? I talk about the vision in my mind of what it is, and I speak about it as if it's already done. It's the business I want. It's the life I want. It's the career I want. It's the love I want. It's the health I want. So Wayne Gretzky he talks about this. He would look in the direction of where he wanted the puck to go, not where it was. Michael Jordan, the same thing. He would see the shot in his mind before he even had his hands on the ball. And that's what that means. Like, you speak about your life, you envision your life, you use words about your life of where it is you want it to go, not where it is. So if somebody asks me about the business, I tell them, we're doing this, we're doing that, blah, 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 this on. And I talk about all the things that are going on. Yes, current things that are going on, but in the future tense, where I want it to go, so that I have that target. We got to be able to have that vision, that focus, that goal. So before I moved to San Diego, I would say, when I knew I wanted to move to San Diego, I didn't know where I wanted to live in San Diego, but I knew I wanted to live in San Diego. I was done with Chicago winter, and I was just ready to really change my life. And so I would say all the time, I would write it in my journal, I would think it, I would say it out loud to myself and to other people, I want to live in San Diego on a cliff overlooking the ocean so I can see the sunset whenever I want. And I would say that all the time. Well, when I moved here, I moved into a furnished vacation rental in Encinitas, in Leucadia, and it was on a bluff, and it was beautiful. I had an ocean view from my deck. I could see the beautiful ocean. I could hear the beautiful waves, and I watched more sunsets than I can even count. I can't even count how many. I got everything I wanted. The universe delivered exactly what I asked for. That is the power of our words. So what is the language that you are using in your life? What is it that you want? Talk about it. And speak about this. And write about the life that you want, not the life that you have. Because only speak about your life from the good things, the good perspective, and you'll get more and more and more of it. I promise you that you will. So there you have it. Those are the 3 exercises that I'm going to give you. So the vocabulary replacement. So you want to remove all words that aren't serving you and replace them with good ones. Then you want to, the person I used to be, exercise. You want to be speaking about your life that way. And then speak about the life that you want, not the life that you have. So one of the things that we also do in Love It, Thank It, Bring It every week is I give you affirmation statements based on Love It, Thank It, Bring It. So the premise is the Love It is the affirmation statement. Sorry. The thank it is the gratitude statement, and then the bring it is the power statement, and these all build on each other too. So the love it affirmation this week is, I am aware of my powerful words. If you're writing it down, let me repeat it. I am aware of my powerful words. Thank it is, I am grateful for my choice of words I speak. Sorry, let me repeat that. I am grateful for my choice of words I speak. That's your thank it statement. And then your bring it statement is, I speak clearly about who I am and what I want. I speak clearly about who I am and what I want. I love that. So those are powerful affirmation statements that you can be using this week. One of the things that I do is I'd like to make an offer to you. And if you're watching here on the webinar, you can see it on the screen. I have the offer up there. If you're watching here on Facebook, what I will do is I will put this in the comments section. I'll create a link there for you. And I'd like to offer you a 20-minute complimentary strategy session with me. And if some of you are on here, are my clients, have been on before, you know those strategy sessions are extremely powerful. I'm extremely results oriented. And I had a woman last week call me a magician because what showed up in her life the next day, she couldn't believe it. So anyway, I highly encourage you to click on the link and have a 20-minute strategy session with me that's complimentary. Let us look at the area or areas of your life that aren't quite perfect. They're not working the way you want them to be, and you need a little help and support, and let me help you with that. Let me shift that for you. And so if you're here on the webinar, again, click on it, and then I'll make sure to add it to the Facebook Live feed for sure. And then A couple other things. If you don't follow me and you want more, you want to be a part of Love It, Thank It, Bring It, the weekly webinar series, you can. I'll also put a link for that in the comment section where you can register to do that and get the webinars. And what you'll do is then I'd love you to be live here with me, communicating with me, but if not, you can certainly see the replays and then you can see them at your convenience, which is awesome. And then on Facebook, I'll also post and save it there as well, so you could see it there. And then if you want, I have other products and services at ihavetoday.com. ihavetoday.com. So you can go in there and sign up for other free things that I have. But what I'd like you to really do is sign up. Oh, hey, Vivian, how are you? Thank you. I hope you sign up for the strategy session. I'd love to support you. So anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, there's other freebies and other great tools and resources on our website at ihavetoday.com. So there you have it. That is the premise of Love It, Thank It, Bring It for this week, our weekly series. So our topic was watch what you say and how language is showing up in your life. And I gave you the three strategy sessions. Next week's topic, if you want to sign up for it now, is going to be awesome because it's called Be Quiet, Just Listen. And I'm going to show you the power of how just listening, not just to the words that you hear, but the sounds, the voices, your intuition. We're really going to focus on intuition and how dialed in you are and how powerful you are, and that you truly know all the answers. Your soul knows everything, and how that shows up in your life. It's going to be really, really fun. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you got a lot of value out of it, and I hope that you'll sign up for the strategy session. And I'll see you next week, same time. I do this every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern. And I look forward to hearing your comments and your feedbacks. And I love you. Bye.